Hey everybody, got another video here for you. I ended up hand chamfering these with the drill bit because the saddles go part way over the screw, so they had to be flush on both sides. And there's ever a slight hint of tear out, so I'm going to touch it up with a bit of paint. So I figured out why the spacing on the bridge here seemed kind of tight. Turns out that the barrels are 10 millimeter diameter, but these washers right here clock in at 11. So when I laid out this thing, instead of doing the center line and then putting one on and then laying out the next one and then putting it on, laying out the next one, and so forth, instead of doing that, what I did was I laid it out for 11 millimeter spacing instead of 10, and because of the fact that, you know, it's kind of 10 millimeter spacing would make it easy. You just go 5 on either side of the center line and so on. But going half a millimeter to either side of the center line is a little bit more problematic. So what I did is I went 5 on this side and 6 on this side. So everything is shifted half a millimeter towards the base side. But I don't think that's going to make a big difference. It's only half a millimeter. And then everything else is laid out appropriately based on distance from the center line. So everything, all the holes on this side are like 1 millimeter further from the center line than all the holes on this side. And all the barrels are now 11 millimeters apart instead of 10. So that hopefully will work out a lot better. And now I need to take them all off of here and put them on there. And the only other thing that's going on is I don't seem to have power to the EQ, so I'm guessing that maybe with these Tycon connectors, maybe I missed on getting one of the wires in there all the way or something like that, but I'll have to check it out. Right now I'm gonna get this bridge put back together. So if you look right here, there's a bit of a gap between these two guys compared to the rest of them. I'm going to remove this barrel and re-drill the holes over in that direction a little bit. Maybe fill the old holes with toothpicks, something like that. Yeah, it looks like layout and drilling of the holes for these things is critical. Another approach you might want to take is figure out what your string spacing is here that you want and then lay them out appropriately. Okay, took the barrel off, took the base off, filled the old holes with toothpick and colored them with black Sharpie, and then I punched it for new holes right next to where the old holes were and drilled it and put the base back on, put the barrel back on, and everything's looking much better now. So I was checking out the action and setting the saddles, readjusting the saddles because I didn't put the barrels back on where they were before. And it looks like this bridge block is just a little bit taller than the old one, like maybe 0.5 millimeter. And so the action on like numbers 1 and 6 here is a little on the high side with the saddle all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of shim in here, like a piece of brass, about 1/3 of a mil. And that ought to get the strings closer to somewhere between on the frets and at the correct action height with the saddles all the way down. And that'll put it in well within adjustment range should do. Well, it took a couple tries, 3 tries actually, but I ended up with 2 pieces of brass in here as the shim. I got things into a good adjustment range, and I'm now in the process of setting the saddles. So that'll get the action set, bring it up to tune. I'm going to have to do the intonation. First thing I want to do, once I get the action set again, is I want to test the piezo, make sure that it's working and I didn't damage it when I reinstalled this new bridge. So yeah, let me finish setting the action on this thing, and then I'll test the piezo. Okay, got all the saddles adjusted and locked back down, and I found out that these washers here are actually, the gold in the middle is a little roller bearing set, and the 2 silver outer pieces are bearing races. So yeah, pretty slick, and it means that these are very smooth to turn. I also took a first stab at setting the intonation on these guys. I'll have to check and see how close I got. And at this point, I think it's time to tune it up and test the piezo. Then I need to deal with the power on the EQ, which I don't know what's up with that. And it ends up, this bridge and nut system that I put together is going to be triple locking. It's got locks here at the bridge end, and then it's got the Floyd Rose locks here at the nut end, plus it's got the anchor screw locks up here at this end as well, so triple locking. Okay, it's tuned up and everything seems to be working. That's the bridge. I still got to do the EQ power over here, so yeah, that's next. But at least the rest of this stuff's working. There is let's see, I put the phase switches backwards. These switch casings might need to be grounded because you can hear a little noise when you touch them. There's also, if you turn everything off, you can hear a little bit of noise. Also, if you turn the phase on, it picks up a little bit more noise. So some additional shielding might be called for too. I don't know, I want to get the EQ going first and make sure that's not related, and then I'm going to check and make sure that all my grounds are good. And I did take the power supply for the pedal board here and unplugged it from the daisy chain and just plugged it straight into the EQ, and the EQ does power up. So the EQ looks like it's okay, it's just this power cord. Well, I figured out what was wrong with the EQ power. The battery was dead. Well, I lucked out, and the wires here were just long enough that I was able to spin this thing around, so now the phase switch is facing the correct direction. And I checked it out. All the grounds and everything are okay. There's no real places where these switches are meant to be grounded, you know, and they're so flimsy that, you know, it just occurred to me that even trying to solder something onto the side of one of these things would be like, you'd probably melt the switch first. I was also thinking about it, and what's going on is that when all 3 pickups are off, you've got ungrounded hot wire is what you have. And on a regular guitar, the hot wire is always grounded. It's either going through a pickup and then back out to the jack on the ground side, or it's going through the volume. Even with the volume all the way down, all you're doing is running the hot wire through the volume directly to the ground through the volume pot. So this one here, because of the fact that when you've got all three pickups off, basically your positive bus is just kind of hanging out there and not connected to anything and not grounded, and so it can pick up a little bit of hum. And so I'm thinking that that would actually call for a master on-off switch that would like turn off the whole guitar, and that would actually ground the hot wire. Basically the same idea as a kill button, but making it a toggle switch, like the on-off switches that I put on a couple other builds. And that would take care of that issue. When any pickup is on, there's no issues, and there's no issues with the phase turned off. It picks up a little bit of hum with the phase turned on, I think. I'm not sure, but maybe. And then there's one more thing. Oh, right, yeah. But this one doesn't have a master on-off switch, but it turns out that if you turn the bypass off on the equalizer and turn the power off on the battery box for the equalizer, so the EQ is like turned on but there's no power going to it, then that acts as a master on-off switch and grounds off everything, and the guitar is totally silent. So I guess that'll work for now, but yeah, on the next one I might be putting a master on-off switch for it as well. So I'm going to button this thing up, and then I think it might be time for some tone tests. So this is the new pile amp for the shop here. It's rated at 60 watts, and it's got an 8-inch full range in it. And I need to convert it over so it's got a cab output on the back. Basically take these guys and connect them to an output jack, and then take the other half of the wires and connect them to an input jack, and then that way you can take this speaker and plug it into the output jack, which is connected to the amp, and run the internal speaker, or you can take a cable and plug it into the output amp and then plug it into something like this cab here. That's the full range 10-inch out of a Fender Frontman 40. So I'm planning to do that, and then I can use this amp in order to drive the 10-inch cab. But for now, it's still just driving this 8-inch cab, basically. And there's the pedal board all set up again. It took a dive or two, and a couple of the pedals came loose. And the Coulter 45 has been removed, so it's now just down to the basics. Tuner, EQ, distortion, delay, and a looper. Okay, the amp is set on the clean channel, volume, tone, bass, mid, and treble are all at 50%. Okay, so right now everything is off. The battery is off, and the bypass is off, which basically works like the master on-off switch. So the very first thing I'll show you is this line noise that I was talking about, when you've got a positive that's just hanging out there, that's not like going through a pickup or going through a volume pot or something else, going through something and finding its way to ground. So let me turn the bypass on. And I don't know if you can hear that little bit of hum, but that's what I'm talking about. Now you have to realize I'm running off the generator. I've got generator, I've got power inverter, but neither of those is a true sine wave device. You know, it's not the same as like real clean household electricity that you get from a power company. They don't generate true sine waves. They'll be like modified sine waves, or, you know, in the case of some of these cheaper power inverters, you even get like sawtooth kind of stuff, but which makes even more line noise. But anyway, so yeah, that's a little bit of line noise that you get when it's just hanging out there, not grounded. And this is a somewhat soupy environment. So let's turn on a pickup. So line noise drops. We just turned on the bridge. And let's see, neck. The bass side's a little quiet. Maybe I should kick that side up or something. As you can see, changing the pickup heights brought them a lot more in balance as far as like the overall volumes goes. Piezo, very quiet. Let's see, bridge split. Versus not split. Neck split. Not split. Kind of fuller sounding. Neck and bridge together. You want me to run through all 25 combinations? How about bridge and piezo? Kind of nice sound. Neck and piezo. Same idea, a little mellower. Here we go, phase. Bridge, neck, and phase. Versus not phase. Phase again. And then you can do stuff like put them both in phase and put one split and turn the humbucker on too. And, you know, all kinds of other stuff. Turn that one off. Now you've got, that has no effect, I don't think. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, so that's neck split and piezo. Bridge split and piezo. Neck split, bridge split, and piezo. Alright, so I think at this point you get the idea. There's probably like about a dozen that I still haven't gone through, but in the way of combinations. But yeah, so that's the basic voicing. Now it's time for me to play it for a bit and record if something good happens. Getting some really nice definition and clarity on off of this bridge pickup. This is still just bridge pickup, EQs on, and clean channel on the amp, no other effects. You have to forgive me, my pinky's still not 100%, but you might hear a plink or two in there. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to let you hear that tone. I'm going to play some more. Okay, I'm getting tired, but I'll do one more for you. Getting kind of a banjo kind of a sound out of the piezo here. I'm just doing time on planet Earth. Well, I think I'd have to say that I'm duly impressed, even if I did build it myself. Had some trouble getting number one string to lock down. It slipped a couple times, but it's an 8, so it happens. A lot of folks don't design their stuff for 8s, so like this bridge right here can't handle 8s. The spring on it's too stiff for 8s. It'll do 10s, but it won't do 8s. Probably do 9s. Might do 9s. Back to this guitar. Yeah, that's about the only issue. Wish the piezo was louder. I was thinking maybe I should put a piezo preamp on it. But I mean, yeah, you could. But the EQ kind of makes up for it. But still, you know, you've also got the EQ for the other two, so the piezo is still, you know, a little behind the curve compared to the other two pickups. So maybe I can find a little like circuit board preamp thing for the piezo that could slip in there or something. I'm sure somebody makes something like that. I've seen a number of things like that. Mostly for basses, though. Little onboard preamps and such. But yeah, as far as this guitar goes, I mean, I still got to do straps and strap lock, and that's it. So the build's pretty much done. You've heard the tone test, you've heard some sound demos, and yeah, sorry the sound demos weren't better. I'm just like I said, not in the mood to play or something, not enough energy. Need more coffee, there you go. Not enough stems. So yeah, maybe I'll do some stems and play some later or something. Get some more sleep first. But yeah, as far as this goes, I'm pleased. Doesn't have a whammy bar, so now I got to do an X-13 version. And other than that, a master kill, maybe just to make things a little bit more obvious about how to get the thing to be totally silent if you want it to be, with all the pickups turned off and everything. I was thinking about a volume, but that wouldn't really there wouldn't be much point to it other than doing the same thing as a master kill. So yeah, unless I come up with some more ideas, this is pretty much the state of the art for the hardtail design. And I'd probably be, if I end up, building a whole bunch of guitars, and eventually I'm going to end up building the same types of guitars again and again, or repeatedly, instead of one-off totally custom that I'm doing now, more or less. This would be a design to repeat. Also, maybe do one in a simpler version. I actually had an idea for an ultra simple version that would have just a piezo and regular tuners, and basically an X-6 with just a piezo and a jack, and regular standard tuners, traditional tuners, not barrel tuners. And that might be another interesting kind of guitar. But anyway, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this build, and for this video, and for this video series. And yeah, I guess next thing is to finish up on the 12-string tail tuner, and then finish up on the X-6 Diamond, and then it's on to whatever the next great thing is. I guess that would be, I got to do a 12-string barrel tuner to test that, so that I can do that for the twin neck, a 12-string barrel tuner and a X-13 Steinberger combined. Basically, it'd be a 12-string version of this. It'd be the 12-string barrel tuner with some vertical string trees in order to get the string alignment and all those tuners to work together. But yeah, that's the basic idea for that build. So, but until I put out the next episode on the 12-string tail tuner, everybody, have a good one.